talk about some different nightshade plants. Now, these are all plants with the name that includes nightshade, not just a bunch of plants in the nightshade family, Solanaceae. This is just specifically nightshade plants, if you know what I mean. So this one, starting off, is probably the most famous, the belladonna, also known as the deadly nightshade. I have made a longer video about this plant in specific, where I will go into more detail, but this one is rather toxic, especially the berries. It's native to Europe and Asia, but has been introduced into multiple areas of North America. It contains multiple toxic alkaloids, including atropine, and can cause a lot of problems if ingested. Now, this one is also a nightshade, however, this one is bitter nightshade, and I think actually in my original nightshade video, I accidentally included a picture of bitter nightshade when I was just talking about belladonna, but that was like a long time ago, so we're not going to talk about that. Now, like the deadly nightshade, the bittersweet nightshade is native to Europe and Asia, but again has been introduced into North America. And just like the deadly nightshade, the berries and leaves are poisonous, however, they usually are less deadly and less toxic than the deadly nightshade. It does contain quite a few toxic alkaloids, such as solanine, which is found in multiple Solanaceae plants within that family. However, the berries are the most toxic part, and they do have quite a bitter and very, very unappetizing taste. So the poisonings from the bitter nightshade are quite a lot rarer than the deadly nightshade, who reportedly have very good tasting berries. You can tell the two apart by the berries. The deadly nightshade has dark black purple berries, and the bittersweet one has these red berries. They also have different flowers. Now, while they're both purple, the bittersweet nightshade has that yellow, very distinctive trumpet, where the deadly, oh my goodness, deadly nightshade does not. And finally, we have the black nightshade, the last one we're going to talk about. Now, this one is slightly different from the other two because it is mostly considered to be non-toxic. It is, once again, native to Europe and Asia, but has been introduced to North America as well as some areas in Africa. And it is distinct from the other two types of nightshade because they have white or very, very pale green flowers, again with that yellow projection coming out of it. And it does have berries looking very similar to the deadly nightshade in color, but to distinguish the berries, the black nightshade berries grow in multiple bunches together, whereas the deadly nightshade only grows a single berry kind of at a time. So the deadly nightshade berries are not in clusters. Now, the black nightshade is by far the most harmless of the three that I've talked about. However, the unripe berries, when they're green, they are still toxic and cause problems. However, other parts of this plant are considered to be edible, but I will say, if you don't know 100,000% sure that this is a safe nightshade, don't eat it. Now, in regards to this topic up here, if you know 100% sure what type of nightshade it is, if it is black nightshade, it's pretty safe and can stay in your yard most likely fine. However, if it's one of the other two species I talked about, the deadly or the bittersweet nightshades, you can probably keep it. However, if you have even the smallest risk of a child or a pet becoming poisoned by it, then I would say it's safer to get rid of it. As much as I am a big fan of poisonous plants and all that, it is better to be safe than sorry, because even though I quite like poisonous plants and would love to have a garden full of them in the future when I actually have a garden, if there is even the smallest risk of a child or a pet, fuck me, eating these, then it's better to dispose of them in a safe way so it decreases that risk.